This is Dr. Chris's Radio Horror Program, 91.3 FM. If you're not listening to us during this recorded interview live, hopefully you're checking it out on our Radio Horror YouTube channel. Tonight on the show, we have Julie Anne Prescott, Scream Queen, actress, and business owner of Big Bad Toys, on the show with us. Thank you for coming on the show with us, Julie.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
The name of the store is not Big Bad Toys.
It's Big Bang. It's okay.
Big Bang Toys. Okay, Big Bang Toys in Nevada. Yes. I'm thinking of the website. I think that has 30 million action figures on it.
Yeah, I wish we had 30 million action figures in our store, but we just have I don't know. We have a lot though, but yeah, that'd be a lot. That'd be awesome to see though in person if you could.
How do you run a toy store and star in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 20. Oh my God, 25 productions at the same time, apparently.
Well, because I'm never there. I own it. I'm the owner. And I go in every once in a while, but I honestly am never physically at the store. My husband is usually there, or we have a staff member that runs it as well. I would like to be there more. In the beginning, I was there more, but then I started to really jump back into acting full time and just go full force at that and travel as much as possible. So I just ended up getting there less and less, which when I go in, it's brand new every time I look at it. So that's how I am able to do so much, is I am only one person. So if I could split myself, I would do everything, but I am not there a lot.
But how do you start 25 productions happening at the same time? I mean, some of them are in pre-production and some of them are currently filming. So I know you're not involved in the pre-production if you're the actress, but in the a lot of these are filming at the exact same time, it seems.
Well, sometimes I go back and forth. I fly a lot, lots of driving as well. I'm not home as much as I guess I would like to be to recharge, but I'm going like the Energizer Bunny. And some of them are, like you said, they're in pre-production, so I'm not really actively on set, or I'll have roles where I'm only needed for a day or two, and then I can go. Like the other week I was in Reno and went straight from Reno. I was at the airport for a couple hours and then flew out straight to Indiana and came home and then had to turn right back around and come out to LA. So there's a lot of situations where I'm just kind of going directly from one place to the other, but I love it and I go where I'm needed.
At some point, do you ever want to step out from in front of the camera and take charge of your destiny and start directing, producing, and writing and being the person in charge of it all?
I actually would love to. There's a lot of stories that myself and one of my best friends, Andrea Collins, she and I have a story that we are actually in very, very, very early stages of pre-production to put together ourselves and bring to life. So I would love to do that. I think there's lots of stories just based off of really interesting experiences that I've had and people that I've met and just weird ideas. I love my dreams. I'm one of those people that have the most entertaining dreams, and it's every single night I wake up with the weirdest shit goes on in my head when I sleep. So yeah, I would love to bring some of that to life and contribute on that side as well, to not just being a part of a story, but making stories for other people to take part in.
Now, I hope this doesn't age you too much, but I swear I thought you had been in this. The next question. I swear I thought you had been in this business for a longer time than 2008, which is how far back your IMDb goes.
Actually, it's been about, I'd say maybe 2006 is when I started. Sorry, there's an airplane.
Hold on, yeah, just pause for a second.
How are you? Yeah, it's a big one.
That's what she said.
That's the only problem. Right? That's the only problem with being outside is, you've got other life forms doing their thing too.
Just eliminate.
Okay.
I just eliminate them. I've seen some of your movies. I know how you can take someone down.
Well, and you'll be seeing a lot more of that. I have a lot more stronger roles coming up that people have not seen before, which is good. Oh, I was just saying there's a lot more strong roles, like really diverse.
Yeah,
You're
definitely.
very
Oh, by the
welcome.
way, and happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
You are a scream queen, business owner, horror aficionado, goddess, and mother.
Yeah, I guess I am all of those things. I'm first and foremost a fan of all of those things as well. So I am a lover of all of the things in my life. So I feel very, very, very grateful for everything that I've got jam packed in there.
You name dropped Andy Noir. We have no idea who she is, other than the fact that she's been on the show twice in the last 10 years.
Oh, has she?
Yes.
All right.
And you can actually listen to on our Radio Horror YouTube channel, Andy and I doing a 2-hour review / style commentary for Blade.
Oh, I have to. That's amazing. I love that. That's going to be like very, very, very like hilarious to hear.
At some point, I haven't connected with her about it yet, but at some point she was going to come back for because I did Blade 2 with somebody else, and is my highest rated video on YouTube with 40,000
Nice.
views. She's supposed to come back for the god awful Blade Trinity.
Oh, I'm going to be there for that one.
How did you get? We talked about this a little bit off the air. And we made some jokes about, like Lifetime would call you up or something, or a Christmas movie. But
Yeah.
you have done nothing but horror movies. Do you always want to do horror movies? Do you feel like you got typecasted and you stuck with it because you enjoyed it? Or are there sometimes you're like, I could do Lady Macbeth?
Well, I think it all goes back again how I'm a fan of everything that I do in my life. I do it because I'm a fan. And with horror, that's just where I gravitate towards as my personality and what I'm into, just entertainment wise, what I've grown up loving. I have a passion for it. And so the reason I got into acting is I wanted to contribute and be a part, actually a part of creating something that I would be a fan of. So that's why I stay with independent horror or horror as a whole. That's why I stay with it, because it's me, it's what I love, and it's what just drives me. I have done some other things, and I really enjoyed doing. I did a bunch of dramatizations, like back in the day. A lot of I worked on some show, Swamp Wars, which was on I think Animal Planet, All Worked Up, which is on True TV, and Dr. G Medical Examiner, which was on Discovery Health. So I did some things like that, but I always kept coming back to horror just because it was like living in like something that I would watch as a spectator, just creating something that I would love, just to watch on my own. Because it's basically, again, horror is basically all that I watch on my own.
Do you have the ability to, because you've been doing this for so long, 10, 12, 11 years, 11, 12 years, be picky choosy with what you want to do, or do you pick up everything that you want to do? Because like I said, I mean, you have like 25 things in production right now in this year alone.
What I do to kind of gauge things is my primary focus is to either the story is something that I really, really want to do because I'm drawn to it and I just want to be a part of that world again, or just the group of people. That's another thing I look for, is a good group of people that are like a family, that work together, that work well together, that keep coming back together and create, projects that they all, seem to be in love with. And I want to be part of that process as well, because to me, it's like a little mini family. So I look for those two things. Either the project itself is something I'm really into, or the group of people is a group of people that I feel very drawn to, just as like for the creative process.
Was there a film growing up that really... Let me start over. Was there a film when you were a little girl horror fan that made you go, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I'm going to do that because that looks so easy. That looks so awesome.
I was more into video vixens, to be honest with you. I was more into the 80s hairband like video girls. So when I was growing up, that's more so what I wanted to be, is that. And I think that I first started doing burlesque shows and stage performance, and like theatrical performances involving like just a lot of like I did a oil bath in a big like basin, like with a motorcycle, and just weird stuff like that, where
Oh
I just,
my.
so it was performing as a whole, but I never really thought about acting until I started actually getting into doing the performance on my own. And then I started to think about it. So I got into acting after the fact. And at first, it's like, I was like, well, I never went to school for it. I didn't have formal training. I didn't know anybody. I just, one day, someone encouraged me to go, hey, why don't you go try out for this film? And at first, I didn't get it. Like, I didn't have any background in it. I never had done anything in that direction. And I got a referral from some people I had worked with, which is a studio that I still work with. And I went from there, and I never stopped. Well, actually, I did take a break when I moved from LA to Vegas. I took a break for a while. And then once I got situated, I just jumped back in.
Out of all the films you've done, do you have a kill count for yourself? Like how many times you have been killed on screen?
Uh, I actually don't. I can't think of how many. I know that I am usually the one that dies. I would like to see more of a kill count where I'm the killer, which hopefully we'll be seeing more of. I think maybe, I don't want to say that I've never done it. I think I've at least once or twice. I would never just like say I haven't, because I remember that there's got to be something. But I've predominantly been the victim, and well, I think that that's something that I really want to change. So my mindset has been like kind of switched into that gear. So I don't know, but somebody should look into that because I'm kind of interested.
Hire yourself some like college intern to be like, okay, now I'm gonna need you to take all these DVDs and you hand them like 75 films, or whatever, and go through every one.
Right.
And on the chalkboard, you march how many times I've died and how many times I got away, how many times that I was, the so on and so forth. Like there's different categories and things.
I don't think I really get away very often either. I really feel like I just die over and over. But I'm working on it. I'm working on my stamina.
Jessica Cameron came on the show years ago before she became a director, and
Uh-huh.
she kind of said the same thing, that she had she can't remember how many times she's been killed off, and she went through like the different ways she's been killed off. She's like, I've been killed off while I was having sex. I was killed off while I was just running through a scene completely naked. I was killed off while I still had my clothes on. So I started keeping a log of like what the different things that I was doing while I was getting killed off.
It's really interesting, honestly. I mean, it's a great thing to keep track of. And now I am interested. So I think I'm going to look into it and see. Like, I got to start a chart.
I
I mean,
work I work very
especially if
cheap,
I'm going to
so if
change
you're
things.
if you know you don't doesn't have to be, I don't necessarily have to be in Nevada. You can hire me all the way out here. I'm sure my roommate probably has most of your films. He buys every horror sci-fi genre film on DVD.
Well, there's another one that's coming out in like a week or two that he should definitely buy, that I just got finished with.
What
That
did you just
hopefully we'll be
finish?
seeing more of. It's called Clown Motel.
Clown Motel follows a group of ghost hunters coming from an old ghost town at a bachelorette party, returning home from Las Vegas. When the group meets up, mistake, they're left to IMDb cut it off. They're left to discover if the motel is really abandoned and haunted by the souls of the clowns that once lived there.
Yes, that's the one. And it's out June 4th. You can pre-order it on Amazon now, but it's out on June 4th officially on DVD and all that good stuff, all those platforms and ways that people view things.
What were you currently? What are you currently working on right now that you're really excited about?
Well, I'm about to go back on set for a creature feature that I can't say anything about, but I just got done working on another super cool creature feature, and it's called Desert Moon, and it's a werewolf film, and it was really, really awesome to work with that group. It stars Sarah French and Jen Nangle, and which you may also know as Malovia, and
Written by Joe Netter.
Oh, you're welcome. Yes, that's exactly the one. Well,
And
happy Mother's Day. Thank you. You're very welcome.
and also starring Maria Olsen, who's also been on the show and is now currently in the kind of direct sequel, but also the fifth movie in the franchise, I Spit on Your Grave.
Yes, exactly. She's amazing. I just worked on another film called Desert Shadows. There's a lot of desert going on with me right now. And
Well,
then,
living in Nevada, it definitely lends itself to it.
yeah, they're taking advantage of our beautiful desert land.
You got to come out to you got to come film out in Salem. There's not enough movies filmed in Salem. I mean, the last one was like Rob Zombie's years ago, and it's like, why don't more people take advantage of living in Salem? Massachusetts has a tax credit for filmmakers to film out here. Hell, they just got done filming season 2 of the Stephen King Hulu show, Castle Rock.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that surprises me because I would think that there'd be lots of activity out there. It's beautiful and it's historical and it's got all of that kind of dark gothic creepiness that, would be great for so many things, especially horror related.
Right, right, definitely. There are horror movies filmed out here in Massachusetts that, I mean, independent horror movies, but you really got to figure out, what they are and where they are. But Hollywood itself, like the big machine of Hollywood, I don't see using Massachusetts nearly as often as they're using, obviously, like Georgia, has been blown up because of The Walking Dead and because of the Avengers.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe things could change. I mean, there's so many wonderful places to film in that I think would bring so much to the screen if they were utilized. But it's all about those incentives and I guess location, the backstory of location that we don't know about.
Um, at what point did you decide to take a break from filmmaking to become a business owner? Why? Where did that come from?
Well, I was working in LA. I had a full-time job that I really, really loved, and I went to work in one of the offices out in Nevada as an operations manager. And just the move and everything going on with my family and just relocating, it was hard going from one place where I had just, put my roots down to move out to a new place where I didn't know anybody and I didn't know, even where to begin to look for resources or ways to be creative. It was more so focusing on getting my family and myself situated and then kind of testing the water, starting to pick up on things, ask around, attend events, you know, kind of just put feelers out there for exactly where I was and what was around me. So I would say it was when we moved to Nevada, and that was like 4 or 5 years ago.
How hard
Four
is it to
years.
own a business in Nevada? I mean, God, it's got to be very expensive. It's almost as expensive as California, right?
No, it's a lot better. I mean, we have incentives in Nevada too, and less. It's less expensive. There's less taxes and less things that you have to do for it. And I think the main challenge where we are is just keeping the community aware that we're there and putting information out there where they can learn more about us so that they come to the location. Just because it's a very bustling city, we're getting a lot busier, especially right now. There's lots of people moving out there. There's lots of excitement, lots of growth going on. So just keeping abreast of the community and in touch with everybody, especially word of mouth. So I think that that's more challenging than the expenses.
For horror movies, I think the remake of Fright Night, that was set in Nevada. I don't know if it was actually filmed in Nevada,
Yeah,
but that was set in Nevada.
it looks like it. I've seen so many neighborhoods that look like that one, so I can totally see that. I watched that movie. I like to watch, especially like even when I travel, I like to watch things to see architecture and like the housing and just the lay of the land, nature, like things that look significantly like that specific place that you're in. So I do like to see things that are not just like the strip because we've seen the strip on TV and in movies so many times. I like to see like other things that look like they are very specifically Nevada.
In my opinion, one of the best representations of the craziness of the strip was in the Joe Dante little independent movie that unfortunately bombed out of the box office, but I still hold up in high regard, starring Brendan Fraser and Bugs Bunny, Looney Tunes Back in Action.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. That's so awesome.
It's got such a they actually filmed it on the strip, and it's such a wacky like look at like Vegas and the Hollywood machine and stuff like that. If you're really into like how movies, studios look and how things are behind the scenes, it rates right up there with like Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, because obviously Jay and Silent Bob in that movie go to stop their movie from being made based on their likeness,
Oh wow.
which Kevin Smith
Yeah.
is remaking in Jay and Silent Bob Redo, as he is going to be making fun of Hollywood remakes.
Well, there's a lot of room there. I like to support them just because it's still supporting the genre. And I'll still go as a fan because I can I can look back fondly on certain movies and see that. And, certain things I will like because I grew up with those movies. You're welcome. And so I don't always just think that remakes are bad necessarily. I think that some of them are very unnecessary. But I give everything a chance just because, there's a lot of people that went in there and, worked very hard and put a lot of effort and talent into those. And, a lot of them grew up as fans too. So it's not just somebody trying to make a buck. I view it more as, a lot of these people also are fans of the original and want to just make something that, adds something to the original that maybe they didn't have access to in the beginning. But I would like to think a lot of them are love letters in a sense of something that, people really, really held dear to them. And they're just kind of modernizing it in a way, whether it needs it or not. But again, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of watching films, and I'm a fan of people who are involved in making them.
Would you rather do one giant movie, like, let's say, as, a big Hollywood machine movie, or a bunch of independent movies sprinkled throughout the year?
A bunch of independent ones. I'm not saying that I would not want to do a big movie. I think that would be amazing. But I love working with people as closely as I do. So I think that would be taken away. I mean, not necessarily, but I think that one of the things that makes the process so special for me is being able to work hands-on, take on several different hats of the film, and just be so closely involved in the process. It feels more personal, whereas I can't say because I haven't worked on something on that largest scale except for as an extra. I've done some extra work for larger films, but it's just such a massive, situation where I love what I do and I love the people I work with, and I like to consider them friends, even if it's just for that time when we work together. I like to know who they are and interact with them, and I guess just be on a first name basis and be able to really feel like I really brought this thing to life instead of just being a small like cog in the wheel.
As a big horror fan, and you own that store, and you have been to all these conventions, is there anything in particular that you collect?
I collect musical snow globes and music boxes. I'm serious, I do.
Of like any kind? It doesn't, not necessarily anything for like Halloween?
Well, a lot of I don't know, some Disney ones, horror related ones. I like old music boxes because my grandmother used to collect them. So I just grew up loving music boxes. I just ordered a music box locket necklace. So just, especially like old music boxes. And then snow globes, I don't know, just, I guess if they're weird, especially if they're kind of like eccentric or something. But I don't know, that's my thing. I have one shelf while everybody else collects their own things. Like, I just have my shelf of my little snow globes and music boxes, and they're like, don't you like this or that? And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Just my snow globes.
What all the different conventions you go to and all the different films that you've done, and of course running that store, what is the weirdest thing that has happened to you, let's say at a convention with a fan or someone who's coming to the store? And at your store, do you happen to have a shelf of like, these are all the movies I've been in?
Oh no,
Okay.
I don't ever really bring it up even. I just focus on the store. I just get like into like talking to people and their lives and just reminiscing about childhood. So I don't really bring up my current life or my, pastimes or what I do. I kind of keep it separate just because. As far as weird things, I don't know. People are just weird every day. I'm weird, so I don't know. Can't really think of anything for certain where something really struck me as odd just because I'm so used to things being odd that I don't know. You'd have to really go over the top. Not saying anybody really should try, but you'd have to go really over the top to surprise me.
Where can people find you online for fans of your work and such?
I feel like the best place to go for information on what I'm doing would still be imdb.com. I think it's the most up to date. You can also go to my Facebook, but my Facebook, I may need to start a fan page at some point. I've always wanted to keep it a personal page because I always wanted, my fans to also be my friends. I haven't really separated it, but with how much work's going on, and I really want to push as much and advertise as much for these projects and everyone who's involved with them. So there may be a time when I need to separate the two, but right now you can still find me on Facebook, but it's like friend requested. And then I have an Instagram.
Yeah, I
Which
was trying to find your Facebook page or your fan, your work page or whatever, like Radio Horrors.
I never made
I'm
one.
like, where is
I
this?
just always kept it close knit, but I don't know. I just never really expected, again, because it's always been something so personal to me. I never expected to really need or have a reason to separate and make something just for fans. But as things develop, I've been thinking about it a lot more. Actually starting a Twitter, like making things public and getting it to where people can find more stuff, which is why I say for now, IMDb is still the best place to see. And also on Facebook, but again, you'd have to send me a friend request. I think I get tagged in some updates for films, but it's not like overly comprehensive.
Gotcha. Well, Julie, thank you for coming on the show with us. It's been a long time coming that we wanted to have you on. I do hope to have you back on the show again in the future. Good luck with
Absolutely.
all of your projects. Good luck with your business. Hope you come back to
Thank
Rock
you.
and Shock in Worcester sometime.
Oh yeah, thank you.